What's up guys, Mitch here. Welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys a behind the scenes of a shoot that I did recently with the Panasonic Lumix S5 camera and the 24-70 2.8 S Pro lens. I'll also be sharing with you guys my thoughts on this lens, how it performs, the pros, the cons, who I think it's for, and all that good stuff. So I went out with my friend Nikol and we shot some more experimental type portraits on this concrete walkway that we found. And it was my first shoot with the firmware 2.0 on the S5. And right off the bat, I noticed a big improvement in the autofocus, particularly with the face tracking in the photo mode. I used the face tracking focus mode for pretty much the entire shoot. Now, Panasonic did loan me this lens to share a video with you guys on how it performs, but they did ask me to share my honest opinions. Now, to give you guys some details about the lens, this is definitely Lumix's more premium offering, coming in at 3,599 Australian dollars, and the build quality and optical performance of the lens definitely reflects that. For anyone interested, I will leave some sample RAW files down in the description for you guys to download, so if you want to check them out, make sure you head down there. So this lens definitely is hefty. It weighs in at just under 1 kilogram. And as far as I can tell, it seems to be a metal construction overall. Definitely the base of the lens is made of metal, but I think the filter thread is plastic. But overall, it feels really, really solid. So I will say it does feel a little bit more front heavy on the S5, but that is to be expected as the S5 is a very lightweight and compact full frame mirrorless camera, definitely one of the most compact ones out there. And most of the other 24-70 lenses in this sort of price range for mirrorless cameras hover around the same weight and a similar size. If you're after a compact and lightweight lens for the S5, I definitely do recommend the 20-60mm lens. I've already made a video on that lens as well, so if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link in the description as well. It has an 82mm filter thread, which is pretty standard for lenses like this one, and the lens unfortunately does not feature OIS. However, with the recent advances in the in-body image stabilization in the S line of full-frame mirrorless cameras, there would definitely be a case to argue for the fact that it probably doesn't need it, and it would just add more weight and complexity, therefore price too, to the lens overall. So my favorite feature of this lens overall has to be this manual focus clutch. So being able to pull back the manual focus ring, and now we're in a completely linear manual focus mode. And it even has the focus distance markings on the barrel, which I absolutely love. This is great because I've never really been a fan of the focus by wire systems in most of these mirrorless lenses, and which is why I've definitely clung onto the older mechanical style DSLR lenses in recent times. But this lens allows you to focus just like a mechanically geared focus ring. Plus, when doing this, the S5 snaps into focus peaking, allowing you to quickly grab accurate focus. I want to say in terms of optical performance, this is probably one of the best 24-70 lenses I've ever tried. The sharpness from corner to corner is really something else, and you do not need to stop this lens down to get sharp images. And you really don't. At 2.8, this lens is super sharp in the center, and even right out to the corners, it maintains that level of sharpness. See for yourself in these examples, cropping into the center and in the corners, it's really great. The vignetting wide open is minimal, and stopping down does give you a little bit more of an even exposure across the frame, but it's nothing a quick correction in Lightroom won't fix. One of the most important things to me when looking at a lens's optical quality is how well it controls chromatic aberrations, which are the purple and green fringes which appear around the edges of out of focus areas, particularly at the wider apertures and in areas of high contrast. I didn't notice any chromatic aberrations in the photos from the shoot with Nikol, and I did some testing, shooting some white chairs on the balcony against the grey tiles, and I think that the chromatic aberrations are extremely well controlled here. The lens is dust and water resistant as well, so that's nice to know for any photographers working out there in the conditions, which is a lot of what I do. You get that peace of mind that the lens is built to perform even in harsher conditions. So while a metal construction does add to the weight of a lens like this is definitely a long-term investment, and it's nice to know that it's going to last years and years if you look after it. It is actually really refreshing to see, because I've noticed that a lot of mirrorless manufacturers have moved towards a more plastic construction, not just in their lenses but in their camera bodies as well. Distortion is well controlled throughout the zoom range in my tests, and incredibly, this 24-70 has almost zero focus breathing, which makes this lens amazing for video. If you don't know what focus breathing is, it's essentially that the focal length will change depending on the focus distance of the lens. On this lens, the focal length stays the same no matter what focus distance you're at. I feel like Panasonic in designing this lens really had both stills and video shooters in mind, and haven't really chosen to favor one type of shooter over the next. One thing I will say that might present a challenge is the fact that the barrel extends out whilst zooming, which can be an issue, particularly when you need to balance the camera on a Steadicam or a gimbal. However, even lenses that don't protrude while zooming still have this issue, because zooming or even changing the focus on a lens will move the glass elements inside the lens, and thus changing the weight distribution overall. So who should buy a 24-70 lens? Your 24-70 is definitely your do-it-all lens. It doesn't have quite of a shallow aperture as a prime lens. However, in combination with owning a prime lens, you can definitely whip that out in any low light situation, or a situation where you need more background separation. The 24-70 is just the go-to. If you're not sure what lens to pick out of your bag for any given scenario, I definitely go for the 24-70. It covers a really good range from wide to close to more of a portrait focal length, and the 2.8 aperture gives you shallow depth of field as well as pretty decent low light performance. I know a lot of photographers who get away with just using a 24-70 for literally everything that they shoot. But if you like super shallow depth of field and the ability to shoot in very low light situations, the 24-70 might not come in as useful for you, and you might opt rather to go for maybe 2 or 3 prime lenses. Overall, the Lumix 24-70 2.8 S Pro is a top performing mid-range zoom with almost zero compromises. It is heavy and physically large, and it does have a premium price point to it, but when you need an all-in-one lens that allows you the flexibility to shoot at any aperture or any focal length in the range with great results, it's easy to look past and is definitely less of a hassle than carrying around multiple prime lenses. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you had any questions, please leave them down in the comments section below. If you want to pick up my preset pack, I've also linked that down in the description. I want to thank you guys once again for joining me here on the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.